In today's video, I'm going to show you how easy it is to create objects in the EL Digitizer and convert them into machine-friendly designs. For Inner Circle members in your classroom, download the lesson files below this tutorial, and YouTube viewers, check out the EL software link in the description below. The first thing I'm going to do is open up a new window, and it automatically comes up with the default recipe, which is cotton, and we're just going to digitize it in this default recipe. You can always change the recipe afterwards. Now I'm going to bring in a bitmap image, so I'm going to click on load backdrop, and I'll load the backdrop that I want. It's called EL Learn. This is just a quick little design so that we can learn how to create shapes. So if you're just a beginner, this is geared for you. Now I'm going to select my backdrop. So I'm going to go back to my load backdrop setting, hit select backdrop, and I can right click on that while it's selected, go to my properties, and let's just make this smaller. It's like 20 inches right now by 20 inches. If you are in metric, you can just click while you're actually in that property box and it will change it automatically for you. And I'm going to change this to, let's say, 5 inches. So we're going to do 5 inches, hit enter, and now you can see that it is much smaller. So I'm going to click off of that. I'm just going to pan it down, bring it into the center of the screen, and I'm going to also hit the opacity, and I'll do it right about 50% just so that we can see the design here. And as I zoom in using my center wheel, I can see all of my objects within my bitmap. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually create this design at a 3:1 scale. So you can zoom in on your little center wheel on your mouse, or you can choose default settings, which we have here: fit to screen, fit select. You can do 1:1, 3:1, or 6:1. I'm going to go to a 6:1 mode, and then I'm going to come over here. Actually, let's just go back to 3:1, and then I'm going to come here and just move my design around. So I'm going to do this big piece around the outside first. Probably I would actually resequence it. Well, I know I'd resequence it after because I would like to have that actually done last, but I'm going to do this first because I'm going to show you the difference between two different tools and which one is going to be friendlier and faster to get the best results. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a color. Let's just choose a purple color. Actually, I'll choose a color that is going to contrast the artwork so you can see it a little better. So for now, I'll just choose this orange color right here. And then I'm going to go to my widget, and the widget is where I have all of my brushes and tools for embroidery and for creating artwork. And I'm going to go to a classic satin. Now the classic satin is an awesome traditional digitizing tool which allows you to do point counterpoint. I can do a curved on one side, I can do a straight on the other, and I can just go all the way through this object and I can create, one side, and it's basically creating my inclinations based on how I am going across the design. So I'll sort of turn this as I go across. Now here, let's just pan over right here so we can see it a little bit better. If I continue doing this, you're going to see, and actually I missed one, so I'm going to backspace. I'm going to do a right click, which is a curve, then a straight, then a right click, then a straight. So right, left, right, left, right, left. And I will eventually get through this. And if we look at the 3D, it actually looks nice and clean. It automatically split the stitches in there, but that takes way too long as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to show you a different way to do it. I'm going to select that object and I'm just going to delete it. And then I'm going to go to my satin tool. Now with the satin tool, and I do have the input for fast draw, which I am going to use, I just have to start at one of my open ends. That's the area that, it doesn't have stitches on either side. It's like a letter I has an open end at the top and the bottom. So I'm going to start at an open end right here, and I'm just going to very, very quickly, and I just need to use my left clicks. I'm going to outline all the way around this object, and I'll be, as accurate as I want to be, but it doesn't have to be, crazy accurate because I am 300% zoomed in, and the beauty of our software is it is built for speed. I can just hit that space bar and I can move over, and let's just put this point here, and I can just put points in as quickly as I can move my hand or my mouse, whatever you're using. I use a pen tablet, but if you are using a mouse, then you just click your left clicks to define the outside of this. And again, I'm going to pan over. And then when I get to the other side here, then what I'm going to do, a couple more, is I'm going to go to the opposite open end, and I'll just come right to about here, and then I'm going to come on this side, and this is where instead of left clicks for straight nodes, I'm just going to very quickly use my fast draw, and it is exactly what it says it is. It is super fast. And again, I can just move around this and very quickly create these curved points. Gives me nice clean lines. Keep going, and then let's just go around this way, come right back to, and I didn't like that one, it was off a little bit, so I'll backspace. You can always backspace while you're in the tool. I'll come right to this point right here. I'll do a straight, and enter. Now I've created that object. All I have to do now is put in my inclinations. So instead of that point counterpoint where I had to dictate every one of these as a stitch direction, now I'm able to just very quickly go through here. It doesn't matter if I'm going top to bottom or bottom to top, as long as I put in an adequate amount of inclination points to dictate how I want these stitches to turn, it's going to do just fine. So I'm going to move over here, and this one I might do right to here, and this one I'm going to come right over to here close to that end, put one more in, hit enter, and that is done. That is super quick. Now the next thing I'm going to do is this lettering, and because I am kind of manually pathing this, and let's just take that and I'm going to choose a nice teal color so that it matches, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my tool to the classic satin, because these will be great in classic satins, and our software does have the ability to smart join, trim, and lock, so it's going to be super quick for me to create all of these objects. So now I'm just going to start creating these objects, and I know that my tool is active because I can see the 6 little dots in the center of my widget are highlighted. That means that it is turned on, and I'm just going to come here and do my point counterpoint for all of these, and I will just continue on, go all the way to right about here, and let's generate these stitches. So I'll come here and I'll put one more point here and here and hit the enter. Now I have that point done, so now I'm going to come here and I'm going to do these points, and I'll just continue on this path and create this second object, the bottom of the E. So exactly the way you would want to kind of see it stitch out is how we're creating it. And I'm going to come in here and just turn around like this and continue to create this object right here. Now that one's done. And then what I can do is I could actually switch to my run stitch, which is actually the hotkey on my computer. It's number 1. I'm just going to go here, and I'm going to travel up the center and kind of go to this point right here, because I want this to be underneath. So now I'm going to go back to my classic satin, and I will just very quickly create that part and come all the way to here, hit enter, and then continue to do this part. I know it's going to cross over. Let's just backspace. It's going to cross over right here, kind of like this. And I'm going to then come right to this point here, and I'll probably stop right about here, hit enter, and then I'll continue on this path and go this way, and that way the smart join is going to join all of these pieces up, and it's giving me nice clean lines. So I'm just going to go right to here, and we have that object actually done. Now I'm going to come over here, and I could do this piece. So I'm going to keep using the same tool, and I'm just going to put a point straight, and then curve these. Actually, let's go back one, straight. Actually, I got to go back a couple. I can always start over again. I need straight, and then I need a small straight to go to a curve. Otherwise, it curves the objects before, and I did not want that, main part here to be curved. So there is my object. I'm going to come here and do this one now. Put a point right here to here, and then I'm going to come here and do this point, and it will automatically join closest point because we have smart join on, and it's going to continue just like this. If I ever see a point where this is getting a little too far away and I want to make sure that I have a connection, I can always just do something like that, and that way I know I'm going to have a connection right there. And then I can go back to my classic satin and put this point on like this. And again, same thing happens, so I want to back up because I have to remember I need to do straight, and then a small straight, and then I can start to curve. Otherwise, it starts to curve the previous items. So That is something you kind of get used to as you move forward. And then I'm just going to do this one here and have it meet up to that object just like that. So that should look nice and clean. And then I can do this one, which I can do this all in one piece, but I might actually do this instead. Let's go here to here, and then I'm going to go from here and turn it, because that was a little bit too much of a turn and as far as I'm concerned. So I kind of broke that apart and did a slight miter on the that one line in the E, and that'll actually look a little bit cleaner. And didn't necessarily have to do that, but when it comes to digitizing, I kind of tend to be a little bit of a perfectionist. I'm going to go back to 1 just to drop a stitch in between there, so I have a connecting stitch, so it's not going to, cause a trim or have something that looks like it needs to be picked out. And then I'm going to do this last piece right here, and I'm actually going to put extra points in, so I kind of turn that curve and have it actually, let's just back up. I want to do one more from here to here, and now that one is done. So we've done all the lettering in that design. It looks great, and now all we have to do is these pieces here, and we will be done. Now for these, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I am going to choose a light green here so that we can actually see what I'm creating, but I'm going to start with a run stitch, and I'm just going to put, actually that's not a run. Let's escape from there. Let's backspace and let's hit the number 1. That is a run. I'm just going to put some stitches here that are going to zigzag back and forth, and because these are going to be kind of long leaves, I want a little bit of underlay to kind of hold that together. And then I'm going to go to my satin tool, and I'm just going to come in and create a point right here, and come over to here, come to here, come to here, and then go all the way around right back to the beginning. Hit enter, inclination, inclination, inclination. Just if I miss the inclination, I can put one in, but I want one right about there, so it's going all the way across. Hit that enter button, and it's going to do that one piece. Now same thing here. If I want to go to a run stitch for a second, I can put in a couple little pieces of underlay with a run stitch. That's manual underlay because I want it to separate. I don't want it to separate, sorry. But I'm going to come right over here, and then I'm going to go back to, not my classic, I'm going to come back to my satin. And there is a difference between the classic satin and the satin. And this way I'm going to have a nice clean shape here as well. And go all the way back to the other side. Hit enter, inclination, inclination right there. Put one more just for good measure, and boom, that one's done. Now at this point I'm going to turn off the 3D, and I'll probably come in and I'm going to do the inside of that yellow first. So I might as well just go to a fill stitch. I'm going to do a fill stitch on the inside, and I might as well just use my circle, and I'll just come here and I'll draw a circle that's a little bit bigger, something like that. Put an inclination in, hit enter, enter, and I have a fill if I look at it, but I'm going to change that fill color so I can select it, and I can just make it into yellow. And if I want to, I can always call up my sequence view. And if I do want to look at this color right here, let's get rid of that one. I could also make this a darker green just so it looks a little bit more like those leaves. Now, all I have to do is this piece here, but I'm going to do something. I'm going to actually get rid of these two objects, and not get rid of them, but hide them. So I've hid them out of view. You can see they have a little eye that's crossed over there because I want to do this piece. And here again is a couple ways you could do it. I could actually use my classic satin, do point counterpoint all the way through and do a whole bunch of pieces. That would be I guess a little more time, and it might not look perfect. I could also use my satin, but then I'm basically kind of starting at an open end and trying to finish at an open end. Or I can use my art tools. So we're going to flip the switch, and we're going to use our art tools to create this, and I'm going to show you why it's a big advantage. So now, using my art tools, I am going to grab my art tool, which is right here. It says artwork. I'm going to change the color to a purple color. So we're going to do our flower in purple. And the first thing I'm going to do is just do a circle. So I'm going to choose a circle. And I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to make sure that circle looks almost perfect on screen. There we go. It's done. I can see in my sequence view that it says artwork path 0 stitches because it's not stitches, it's just artwork. Now I'm going to create another piece, but this time I'm going to use my fast draw, and I'm just going to start here, let's say, and I'm going to come here and do curve. No, actually, let's change that. I'm going to go curve, 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 straight. And then I'll try a curve straight. Nope, don't like that either. So I need to put in a few more inputs. But I'll just go around this and draw all of my curves to straights. And this is giving me a nice clean shape around the outside. And right to here straight, curve, 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 curve. And then right here I'm going to do a straight, and I'm going to enter. Now I have an opened area right here. This is called kind of like an open piece of artwork. So while it's highlighted, I'm going to click on this little button here, which is to close the shape. Now I have it closed. And if I look here, I have actually 2 pieces of artwork. I have a circle and the outside of the flower. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go right over here to my artwork edit. And within the artwork edit, I have those 2 objects highlighted. I'm going to click on it and I'm going to combine the 2. Now what I've done is I have 1 piece of artwork there, and because it's 1 piece of artwork, now while it's highlighted, I can very easily just tell it to convert to a satin, and all I have to do is put in these points here that are going to define the stitch direction that's going around the flower. Hit enter, enter again, and boom, it is done. Now I can just turn back on my pieces of embroidery that I closed the eye on. And if I look at this right now, I can see that the entire design is done. It actually looks great. And I'm just going to move it onto the screen. Let's make it a little bit smaller so that we can see it. And these little phantom stitches that you hear only happen between color changes, so I'm not going to worry about those too much. But if I want to resequence this, I could actually take all of these pieces, and I'm going to do it so that when I, let's take this right here, and I'm going to collapse all of them, and I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to select it, and I'm going to move it all the way to the bottom. So now it's going to embroider that last. And if I look at the redraw here, it's going to actually do a redraw. So here's my slow redraw. So, and I can come in here and click that, and I can always tell it to move a little faster as I go through. So 5 times speed. There it's doing that object first. Then it will come in after it does all that lettering. It's going to come in and do the flowers. It'll do the leaves next. It'll do the center fill. It'll finish off that flower. And then at the very end, it's going to do all of those stitches there, and you can see that it automatically did split the stitches so that it's not going to have any issues. What I might want to do, just as I look at this redraw, is I might actually change the path of that last object. So I'm going to grab that last one, let's select it right here, and I'm going to go in and edit the path, and that stop point that I see right there, I'm going to put it at the other side. So that way it's going to kind of have a path that goes all the way around as opposed to bringing stuff halfway and meeting. And if I do that redraw one more time, and I can just fast forward, I'm going to see now it's going to do this and go all the way around. And that is set to sew. Now you always want to make sure that you save out your native file format. That's the JDX file. You want to save that. So if you ever want to bring it back in, do any little tweaking to any of your objects, change any of the underlay settings, or change the recipe within the design, you'll do it within that native file format. Once you've saved that, then you can save it to whatever flavor of machine file format you want. For us, we're going to run it on our Tajima Sai, so I want to make sure I save it as a DST file. And once again, the proof is in the stitching. Inner Circle members, don't forget to download your lesson files below. Not a member yet? Join the Inner Circle and get access to exclusive bonuses, hands-on training, and everything you need to master embroidery digitizing. Click the link in the description to get started. Want to keep learning? Check out these tutorials next and take your embroidery skills even further.